Yeah, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Brady Hoke and Aztec football playing in the conference championship game this Saturday against Utah State. 11-1 Aztecs. That's a big deal. It's good stuff, and we're excited for him and wish Brady and the Aztecs all the luck in the world against Utah State on Saturday. Men's basketball, we're back on the practice floor. We have to get better. We know that. We are guarding at an elite level, and we played great defense in our last game against USC. But we have to clean up our offense. We have to be more free-flowing, dangerous at the offensive end, and we have to rebound the basketball. So those are getting our full attention right now as we prepare for Long Beach State, a team that's more than capable of putting points on the board. I watched the first half of their UCLA game. I think it was 46-43 at halftime against the Bruins earlier this year, and they can score the basketball. So we have to slow them down and manufacture enough points to come away with a victory against them tomorrow night at Viejas Arena.
Thanks, Coach. At this time, we're going to take questions, and we'll start with Andre.
Hey, Coach. Keith Dinwiddie has not shot the ball well this year. He's only 4 of 17, but he has the highest plus-minus on the team, and he's first in several efficiency metrics. What has he done to have an impact on the game despite not scoring the ball?
Well, Keith has done what all our players have done over their careers here. He's gotten really good at the defensive end. So that's why he's out there. And that's why he's out there over Chad right now, Baker, because he's been more reliable defensively. So now we need someone to step up and make shots. With Adam Seiko missing the USC game, he had made a couple shots against Georgetown. Keith had to step up, and he had some good looks that I want him to take. But at some point, some of those looks have to go in so that we can manufacture enough offense to get a victory instead of a defeat in a game like that.
And so far early in the season, how would you assess the two big lineup off the bench, particularly Joshua Tomaic playing the 4 more this year after playing the 5 last year?
Yeah, Josh has done a good job adjusting to playing more facing the basket, stretch 4 position. But at the same time, we've used him to back up Nate as the 5-man. You know, it's just a choice we make depending on who the opponent is. If we're going to go with Tahiro as the backup 5 or Josh. And Tahiro played great against Georgetown. I felt bad. We put him in the second half against USC, gave up an offensive rebound on a missed free throw and took him right out. That's not good for any of us. That's not good for his confidence and our handling of him in that situation. And I apologize to him for that. Tahiro's very good and provided us some really good minutes off the bench this year.
And last question for me, it feels like there's less off-ball movement this year and on the offense. Is that by design, or is that just kind of how the games have played out?
I mean, we're moving off the ball. We have to be more dangerous in our movement, move at greater pace. And I said that to the team about KJ Fagan. He used to run the baseline every play like he was going to get the ball, even though he would never get the ball. And so the key is to move when you know you're not going to get the ball at pace where you can pull the defense maybe out of a help position. So, yeah, we have to play at greater pace. We're running the same sets we ran a year ago. We just have to be more efficient in running them. And like I said, when you lose Jordan Shackle, 46% making threes, and Terrell Gomez, 40%, that's what we're lacking. We have to jump up and make some jump shots in order to pull the defense further from the basket.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Next, we'll go to Mark.
Coach, it seems like your non-conference schedule is kind of two different types of teams. You have these very high-level teams that you've been playing, and then you have teams that are rated lower, and you have opportunities to get good wins, and you also have to avoid the bad loss. How do you prepare a team when you go from playing USC, who's a top 20 type team, to playing Long Beach State, which can be dangerous but doesn't have that same kind of pedigree? With that in mind,
Mark, we always talk to playing to our standard, not to the opponent. And so whether we're playing USC, we have a standard we want to play to, and then we have that same standard against Long Beach. And so we've shown them tape where they played UCLA, and they were extremely dangerous. They score the ball at a really high level. And we always tell them, whatever team you see on tape is not the team you're going to play. And so I think the best version of Long Beach, even though they were a starter short against them, was against UCLA. And so all our guys have to do is watch that to know how dangerous they really are.
Are your guys aware that a bad loss There's a difference between losses and just a loss when it comes to a resume.
Well, I know the coaches are. We got to play to whatever we play to. We can't play in fear of losing a game. We have to go out and just play every game to win and play to the standard that we have set for our team. And that's not to say that a bad loss can't happen or won't happen. But if we stay to what we do, if we prepare the way we prepare, over the long run, we'll get enough victories to have the kind of season we all want to have.
And what specific changes will you make in the offense? You said you want to be more free flowing. Is that a tactical schematic change, or is that just a mentality?
There's nothing tactical. Obviously, you want to run every chance you can, because half court defenses are so good. And USC's a top 10 defense in the country, so it's not surprising we had difficulty scoring. And that's coming off the Georgetown game where we scored the ball really well, our best offensive night of the year. So sometimes the opponent dictates what success you have, but we know we want to run more than we have. We work on that every day. We want to move at greater pace at the offensive end, and that comes with being familiar with what we're trying to do. Like I said, we have a lot of new pieces to our offense this year, trying to figure out where they're supposed to be, first of all, and once they figure that out, if they move to those places at greater pace, then our efficiency will go up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to Andrew.
Hey, Coach, Andrew Kahn. I cover Michigan for MLive, the Ann Arbor News. I know you've got a game before the Michigan game, but our SID sent me this link. I hope it's okay if I ask you about Juwan Howard a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right. I guess just the first thing is if you could kind of just summarize your relationship with him when he was a player at Michigan and in the years since.
Family. That's what Juwan's always been. Whether it was a junior year of high school where we first kind of got to know each other, all the way through the recruiting process, the 3 years we spent together in Ann Arbor, and then post Ann Arbor, following his career as an NBA player. It's family. It's always been that way. So we've shared in each other's lives, and it's going to be great to see him when I get to Ann Arbor and share some of those memories. But at the same time, we're going in there to try to win a basketball game, and he's going to do the same. So we will share memories, but we will both do our jobs and try to get our teams to play to their highest potential.
Thanks. As far as his post, Michigan days, if you're a college coach, I know there's an off season, but you're always recruiting, and he's either playing or coaching. He never stopped. I guess can you give an example of how did you connect in person at times, or is it just a text here and there? How did that bond continue?
Always a text, always a phone call. And then, obviously, when his sons were playing summer basketball, we'd be in the same cities, and we'd get together at that point, maybe for a meal. And, him being, obviously, all the way in Miami or Ann Arbor, we're a country apart, basically, 3 time zones apart most of the time. So the times we get to see each other in person are not frequent, but when they are, they're always special.
And then last thing from me, unless I guess there's time at the end, but are you surprised isn't the right word, but I mean, where he has this team in his 3rd year, he's National Coach of the Year last year. I guess what are your general thoughts on his quick ascension in this field? Nothing
surprises me about Juwan. He was meticulous as a young man, detailed in everything in his life, the way he dressed, the way he acted, the way he carried himself. And that's just a credit to his family that raised him, and the person he's become is a credit to his family. And now Michigan is reaping the benefits of having such a wonderful person and leader for the Michigan basketball program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew. Let's go to John.
Dutch, did you ever think you'd bring a San Diego State team into Ann Arbor?
No, this was not supposed to happen this year. Obviously, they lost the Kentucky game. The dates matched up. I reached out to Juwan. He wanted to give enough time to see if the Kentucky game could still happen. When it wasn't going to happen, they were landlocked on a date and time too, and so it was the perfect storm for us to play there. So I'm glad to get back there to take our Aztec team into a very challenging venue against a very good team to see if we can find a way to manufacture a victory.
I wanted to ask you about the late game situation against SC, because it seemed like despite everything, you were probably a play away from being right in it, right? I mean, you had it to 8 a couple of times. You had it maybe to 9 a couple of times with possession. Did you feel the same way? Like you could have really put some pressure on maybe with one more made field goal in that game?
Yeah, we had it to 8 and could have cut it to 6, and that's every team in the country, though, John. College basketball games are hard to win, and so we let them get enough separation in a low-scoring game where 15 points was like 30 points because both teams were taking care of the basketball. It was a low-turnover game. Both teams missed free throws, too. You know, we look back and say we missed 3 1-and-1s in the end of the first half. We could have kept it to a one-possession game at halftime, and they're saying we missed a ton of free throws to create greater separation. And so both teams played highly competitive games. They made more difficult shots than we did. We didn't give them open looks, but Peterson made a lot of step backs. They made a lot of tough shots that we didn't make in order to win the game.
And then you mentioned Adam, who was unavailable for you against SC. How's Adam's health, and will he be available for you tomorrow?
I'm hoping. He didn't practice yesterday, so we continue to get him treatment on that thigh. You know, he took a knee on a screen. He was chasing over a screen. The big kind of leaned out and caught him with a knee in the thigh. And so he tried to get ready to play against USC, couldn't. And so hopefully we'll have him for tomorrow against Long Beach.
Thanks, Dutch.
Thank you, John. Let's go to Lee.
Hey, Brian, Pulliam is not what he was the last half of last season, and Mitchell is obviously struggling in whatever the defined role is. Everybody's got tape on him. What do you got to do to get Pulliam back, and do you need to rearrange the spacing on the court for Bradley to be able to do what Bradley did at Cal?
You know, I think Trey, the USC game, Trey came to us after, and, you know, we showed him some stuff on tape that was uncharacteristic, and he just said, I was tired, Coach. I had kind of worn down at that point. And it's not surprising. Playing back-to-back nights, we played him a ton of minutes against Georgetown. I think he just wore down, and he made plays that weren't characteristic of Trey. But I don't think it's a season-long problem for Trey. Trey's one of our better players, and I'm pleased with the way he's playing. I want him to shoot the ball better. Everyone does. You know, he's got to get up into the 40 percentile. He's in the 30s right now. So I think Trey's game will round out, and he'll be effective. Matt, I watched tape with Matt yesterday, just he and I for an hour, both Cal tape and San Diego State tape, looking to positions on the floor where he'd been successful in the past, trying to put him in those same positions. And so it's just a learning curve, a growing curve where we put him in positions where he can be dangerous, and then he takes advantage of those positions. So I'm not running him any different than he ran when he had success. We just have to pick and choose when we can put him in positions where he can be the most effective on the floor.
I had a comment about Juwan Howard. Is it unusual for somebody to retire from the NBA, go back to the college environment after so many years, and be able to do what needs to be done to build a college program at this level? I mean, it's kind of surprising that he would arrive so quickly and be successful so quickly.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job, you know, and that's from, you know, all those years of playing. He wasn't just playing, he was watching, he was learning. So what he learned from Steve Fisher when he was at Michigan, what he learned from all the NBA coaches that he had the blessing to play for, from Miami, from Spoelstra at the end, he's learned along the way. So he wasn't just out there playing, he was observing, he was learning. He's always been a leader, so leadership was never going to be a question. It was just picking up all the X's and O's that he thought would be effective in the college game. And there's the recruiting end of it. And if you're an honest person, you're a good person, you're a caring person, then you're going to sign good players. And that's what he is, and that's what he's done.
And how hostile is the environment going to be at Chrysler Arena? I mean, I would assume, based on what we just experienced in football with Michigan wrecking Ohio State's season, that's going to spill over to the basketball. So it's going to be a pretty rugged environment for your kids to go into.
Well, I hope everybody at Michigan is looking at North Carolina this week, who they play, and getting ready for the Big Ten football championship game and overlooking the Aztecs. We're just going to sneak into town and see if we can play some good basketball.